Howdy, this is Crazy Grinding back again with an arena cutoff video for Marvel Contest of Champions. Today I cover round 1 results for the Mysterio and Mephisto arenas, then jump into some round 2 predictions. So first the results. So as expected, Mysterio was a above average arena grind in terms of new 5-star feature champs, very similar to the recent Stealth Suit Spider-Man. Coming in just at, well, for the 5-star feature arena anyway, coming in at 53 million. Now for the 4-star feature arena, though, he did have a decline down to, well, compared to Stealth Suit Spider-Man again, who went closer to 12 million, where here Mysterio, for whatever reason, went at 10.7 million. And lastly, Mephisto, for the first time we have an old 4-star basic champ, or only old because he's been in the 4-star basic arena before, still in that low interest category, but actually break that 1.6 million all the way up to 1.7 million. So a little bit higher, but still within that 1.6 to 1.7 range. So anyway, comparing these round 1 results to my predictions, for the most part, they were pretty much on track, with the 5-star feature for sure being right within that sweet spot of 5 to 10% and actually closer to 5%. With the 12 million 4-star feature, my prediction was just out of 10%, just over that 10%, but that's kind of the boundaries, the guidance that I kind of track myself or compare myself to, I guess I should say, or rate myself against. So that 12 million was just outside of that 10 million. So I'm going to, or 10 million, 10%. So that's definitely, just not definitely, but just barely out. And then with the 1.62, definitely within that 5 to 10% range. So that's a decent prediction. I always try to get within there. And here's again another example. 1.62 was a prediction, but if you looked at my grinding, the grind target number, you knew that number was higher than that, into that 1.7, 1.8 if you listened to the video. So if you did that, then you should be fine. If you just go by these predictions, keep in mind these aren't an exact science one. Past results don't guarantee future results, so make sure you go to those grind targets if you really don't want to miss out. And even then, the grind targets aren't always right either, so keep that in mind. So anyway, now that I've taken a look at round 1 results, let's take a look at some of the trends to see what we might expect for round 2. Starting first with the 5-star feature arena, and again, these numbers as well as these results are for the veterans bracket, meaning your account's been open for over 60 days. So anyway, looking for a 5-star feature, you can see with Nick Fury, Human Torch, Doctor Strange, and here recently the Stealth Suit Spider-Man. In all cases except Human Torch, the second round was actually higher than the first round, where in the case of Human Torch it went from 51 to 41. So it had a drop, but Nick Fury went from 41 to 43 million. Doctor Strange went from 43 to 44. And here recently, Spider-Man Stealth Suit Spider-Man went from 47 to 52 million. So had that 5 million increase. So I think Mysterio, since he's already at that 50 million zone, I think he will have an increase, unlike Human Torch, who had that decrease. I think there will be an increase, but I don't think it'll be as dramatic or as steep as that that Stealth Suit Spider-Man. Now with the 4-star feature, we see something similar with Human Torch had an increase, but not a very steep increase. And then we have Ronan, who actually had a decrease. Invisible Woman had an increase, and then Stealth Suit Spider-Man had a decrease. So it looks like when you get to that 12 million, there's a smaller second round arena cutoff, but when you're below 12 million, like we've seen with Human Torch and Invisible Woman, there's a slight increase with round 1. I think that sweet spot again is around that 11 million zone, at least here with that trend. It kind of averages out that way, even though the decrease for Ronan and Spider-Man, Stealth Suit Spider-Man, did go below 11 million. If you kind of average that out, you'll see that that's 11 million is kind of the sweet spot for that second round arena for this type of champ anyway. If you look at numbers like for Call and for Namor here recently, they were above 12 million and stayed 12 million, but Call and Namor are a different level of champion compared to Mysterio and Stealth Suit Spidey, who I think are great champs, but they're not that top tier champ. Now with Mephisto and the 4-star basic arena, what we typically see between round 1 and round 2 is a slight increase. No reason to expect anything other here. And then for the 3-star feature arenas for new champs, we've seen the exact opposite, where there's a decrease between round 1 and round 2. So considering these trends, and there's some decent things to kind of base, we might be able to guess what will happen in round 2. Here are my thoughts for round 2 predictions for the Mysterio and Mephisto arenas for the veterans bracket. Meaning, again, veterans bracket means your account's been open for over 60 days. I think we're looking at $54 million for the 5-star feature Mysterio. I think we're looking at $11 million for the 4-star feature. I think we're looking at $1.8 million for Mephisto and the 4-star basic, and I think we're looking at $1.2 million, maybe $1.3 million. Well, we'll call the prediction at $1.2 million for the 3-star feature Mysterio. Now, as I said earlier already in this video, these are just the predictions, and I try to get within 5 to 10% based off of those trends that we looked at here just a few minutes ago. If you really want to, get these champs, don't miss out on them. I do recommend going to at least their grind targets and maybe even a little bit higher. I think 56, 57 million should work for the 5-star feature Mysterio. I think somewhere in the low 12 millions is what we're talking about for the 4-star feature Mysterio. I think 2 million is probably more than enough for the 4-star basic Mephisto. Probably 1.9 will work, but 2.1 million just to give yourself some coverage. And then lastly, that 1.3 million I think is what we're looking at for the 3-star feature Mysterio. And again, these grind targets, similar to the predictions, are for the veterans bracket. When it comes to the earlier brackets, there's just not a ton of data out there. There's no one collecting across the community self-reported results from all the different summoners, and there's a lot of volatility in these brackets in these arena grinding as people move from one arena to the next. Beginners 1 to 30 days. An intermediate bracket is an account that's been open 31 to 60 days. And unfortunately, what I've heard from folks who recently reported the results for that Stealth Suit Spider-Man arenas, and even here recently from Mysterio, it sounds like that 4-star feature number is climbing back up again. And rightfully so with Stealth Suit Spider-Man and Mysterio. Those are definitely some good champs that you could add to an early roster and use them quite heavily for some time. So keeping in mind the recent information that I received for these champs, here's kind of my latest rough ballpark. And these are even more of a guesstimates compared to those last predictions. I think for the 3-star feature we're looking at 245,000. 4-star basic we're looking at 600,000. 4-star feature we're looking at 1.4 million. Intermediate bracket 3-star feature we're looking at 525. 4-star basic Mephisto around 900 to maybe $1 million. And for the 4-star feature Mysterio in the intermediate bracket we're looking at 1.4 million. So anyway, these are my thoughts for round 2 of the Mysterio and Mephisto arenas. We'd love to hear what you think, especially if you have any questions. Throw it on down in the comment section, and I'll try to get to your questions and comments as soon as I can. Other than that, if you like this video or find it informational, we'd really appreciate if you click that thumbs up button. That helps a lot, helps support the channel. And if you like this video and other videos I have on the channel and you haven't subscribed yet, we'd really appreciate if you did. Thanks a lot for stopping by, and have a great day.